Okay, so I woke up today and once again, I think this is like every 6 months, people have dragged up and pulled out old videos from my MySpace days. We're talking 10, 12 years ago. I know quarantine has a lot of you motherfuckers really bored.
What the hell? Oh, white rabbit.
Oh my god, you guys, she's here. Okay. Hello!
Hi!
Hello! Oh my god, it's so nice to meet you. Come in, come in. But stop trying to use my past against me. Today, 2020, this is the fucking bitch I am. This is the person I am proud to be.
I have a whole theme of like dead beauty queens. I have Princess Diana, Sharon Tate. I just got another JonBenet Ramsey on my leg. I'm never intimidated. I think it's all funny.
Since JonBenet was killed in 1996, these images of the young pageant contestant have been etched in our brains.
What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Hi, how are ya? Now today's video, I have never gotten this many requests. I'm talking thousands and thousands of tweets, thousands of comments on my last YouTube video, and thousands of comments on my Twitter. You guys have highly requested for me to review Bad Baby's new makeup line, Copycat Beauty.
Look, these hoes be fake flossing, fake ass jewelry got a neck rash. These hoes be fake ballin', tax money that shit won't last.
My question for Bad Baby is, will you date me? I'm 15, you're 15, let's go.
Yo, I don't like white boys.
Can I come to your 16th? Yes or no?
No. Sorry. Next.
Miss Bad Baby, would you ever get a face tattoo?
I would never get a face tattoo because y'all the ones that ain't gonna have jobs. Is not me.
Here is my question. How do I get money? Help me get money.
Get money. I don't have to find it. I just do it. These hoes be dick riders and they gon' come up cause they let you fuck. These hoes be full of drama, they always with the extra.
Everything has to be Barbara Ann's way or no way. She'll go after me.
God, bitch.
Like if I tell her like hit me, she'll try to hit me and I gotta like dodge her. Cause if she hits me, I'm giving it to her. I'm pretty violent. I mushed her in the face cause she wouldn't get out of my face. Either I'm breaking down her door or she's breaking down my door. I don't stop till I start seeing dents in the door.
Cause I knew what I was doing, you did it.
She's so over exaggerated. But she'll be like, oh, she threw boulders at my window. The pebble's like this little. She'll threaten me. If you don't do this or that, then I'm gonna call your PO.
You got one more time to hit me, Danielle. You got one more.
I ran out 4 times in one day. And the cops brought me back every time. She wants me to be sent away. You want me just as bad, put me in jail.
You in a trailer, home, but you can't compete. I'm riding solo, don't need no one but me. Run up a check, yeah, we running the streets. Yeah, red cup, no, it ain't Kool-Aid. Got me fed up, you hoes too fake. 1 minute he your man, he your ride or die. Next minute on the ground with a new babe. These hoes, shame on these hoes. I'm in the Maybach, I heard you got repo. Hair down, diamonds on, need a peacoat. Heard the fans listening, gotta speak like.
Why won't you kids behave?
Shut up, Stank, he's not talking to you.
So, Miss Cartman, you can't control your child?
Oh, my little poopsikins gets into no-nos once in a while, but he's still my perfect little sumsy kiddles.
Well, your son made a video backstage. Let's take a look.
Mary, I am out of control. Yeah, I use drugs. I can do what I want, bitch. Yeah, I have sex and I don't use protection. It's my hot body. I'll do what I want. I don't go to school and I kill people. Whatever. I'll do what I want.
Oh, he's such a cutie.
I brought you some makeup.
Yes. Okay. First of all, hi. You look stunning in person. You have lashes. Okay. You be quiet. Now listen. You uploaded a video and you announced Copycat Beauty. I have never gotten as many comments in my life than to review this.
Well, I mean, then there's only one thing left to do.
I gotta review it. Now listen, I heard it's poppin'. I heard a lot of people are loving it and it has a lot of attention. So bitch, we're gonna try it today. She's gonna go home after I look through it. Show me what you brought me.
Okay.
I saw the video and I was like, okay, I love the idea. So give it to me. By the way, I might need to borrow this backpack. Yes.
So here's some different eyeshadows.
Okay.
Here is.
Ooh, I saw these online, you guys. So we got the eyeshadows. Ooh,
and then this is like
okay.
Bronze, highlight.
And bronzer.
No, I think this is highlight.
Okay.
You're entering a game, there's a lot of competition, like Kylie Jenner. She's probably the queen of this whole makeup thing. Is that who you're coming for? You coming for her head?
Hey, listen, I ain't coming for nobody. I'm just doing my own thing. If it gets bigger than other people, it gets bigger than other people. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, I'm 15, I'm just starting this. I'm just getting into it.
So you know she's a billionaire, right? Is that what you're going for?
I mean, I'd love to be a billionaire, sure. Why not?
Yeah?
Who's gonna turn that down?
Okay, happy Sunday everybody. I'm getting ready right now because today I am being interviewed by the legendary American TV journalist Chris Hansen.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Have a Seat with Chris Hansen for what will be, no doubt, one of the most analyzed, scrutinized, and perhaps criticized interviews that you'll see this year.
We are diving into a very serious subject today. It is going to be on his YouTube channel. He's trying to put away someone in prison, and I'm going to answer all of his questions, and hopefully I can help and give some clarity to a lot of really insane rumors and misinformation on the internet. I know a lot of people love to copy and paste my old past to try to use it against me. Girl, not today. This topic is very serious.
As you know, we've been investigating the case of Davi Vanity Jesus Torres, who is accused, although not officially by law enforcement, but by many survivors, as many as 24, and we think maybe in the hundreds, perhaps thousands, of sexual assault involving women who were young at the time, 12, 13, 14 years old. And my guest today is someone who possesses a very unique position in pop culture and business and the makeup world, as an influencer, as a YouTube star in his own right, who was a music performer at one time and was on the same stage as Davi Vanity. You know, because you monitor social media and your people do, just like I do, that everybody has an opinion about you, this case, me, and this interview. And I've had suggestions and people tell me how to conduct this interview. And my philosophy on conducting interviews is to be a good listener. So that is exactly what I'm going to do with you today. Your initial thoughts on what has surfaced in the last several months on Davi Vanity. I mean, how do you characterize what you've heard, and what do you think of it all?
So when I quit music, I really quit everything, meaning I didn't really talk to any of those people ever again until this date. So it wasn't shocking because Davi's always been horrible.
Andrew, would you like to say something? You're a fucking faggot! Fuck you! Fuck me! I thought that was the speaker, bro. There we go. Let's have a threesome, Jay! Oh shit. Anybody got a condom? Stop throwing your tampons! You left your condoms at home? You never leave your condoms at home. You're coming to a Blood and Dance Hall show.
And we'll dive into all of that. I want to answer everyone's questions today, but I was happy that people are finally getting a voice, because back in the day, I don't think that a lot of people took things like this serious. The subject matter that we're going to discuss today and everything that he's been accused of, people back in the day did not take it as serious as they do now, which is so horrible. So I'm glad that things are really coming to light. And at the end of the day, the goal is for him to be sitting in a prison cell. So I'm ready to dive in. You know what I mean?
Well, take me back to those days in, the mid to late 2005, 2010, 2012. What was that music scene like, and how did you get into it? What was happening in that scene?
It was very punk rock. And what I mean by that, it was a very crass and offensive culture, whether it was electronic music or dance. We were in this, I call it the MySpace culture, because that was kind of the time frame. And things were just very different than how they were now. And it was very rock and roll. You know, we did a lot of things for attention, a lot of things to be offensive. And me and Davi first met because I believe that he was actually a fan of me. And I remember, since we've spoken, I've dug through all my memories of when I first met that person, how it all even transpired.
So you were what, 19 or so when you got into the music scene? 18, 19, in about what, 07, 08?
Exactly. 2006, I did my first song with a group called Hollywood Undead. That was very big on MySpace. And then I went up all the way until 2013 when I quit. So it was a really crazy time in my life.
And describe how you actually met Davi Vanity, Jesus Torres.
It was through shows at electronic shows or rock shows. When I was touring with other bands, him and his friends would start to come to the shows. And we met, I think, the first time in Florida when I was playing with some of my old MySpace music. And he really came up to me as kind of like a fan. And that's what I remember. And then when I saw him next, he had a band. It was called Blood on the Dance Floor, and he was starting to do shows. And I think in hopes of touring and working with the kind of crowd that we were in.
Ultimately, you shared a stage with Davi Vanity and Blood on the Dance Floor. What was that like?
So here's the thing. I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. Blood on the Dance Floor and Jeffree Star, the musician, did a lot of tours separately. We only ever toured twice together. And people may know this or may not know this about me. I don't drink. I know there's conspiracies that I secretly drink. I am not a partier. So they were very into partying, drinking, alcohol. And my crew was not into that. We were stoners and we were, we didn't hang out a lot. So, but sharing a stage and being on tour, it was different times, and a lot of the people that opened for us, opening bands, we were all very similar in that we had offensive lyrics. It was very sexual. It was very about partying and just being crazy. So it just kind of fit. But when we were, and what do you mean like by on stage? Because should we talk about the infamous clip that is going around everywhere?
Yeah, let's get to that, because that seems to be, you know, what is on a lot of people's minds. And we talked earlier about everybody having their own opinion on this and everybody wanting to hold you to a certain level of responsibility for what Davi Vanity allegedly did. So there's a clip. You're on stage with him. He grabs a girl who's identified as being 13 years old and for sure underage.
In case you don't know what you're watching right now, that's Jeffree Star on stage with Davi Vanity. And yes, that is Davi Vanity dancing with a girl who looks no older than 14. I shouldn't have to tell you why this is disgusting.
And he makes a sexual move, I guess you could say, humping or grabbing her that way.
So
people want to say because you were on stage when Davi Vanity did this, that somehow you should have reported that and gone to the police and said Davi Vanity is a predator targeting underage girls.
Lesson 3 is just a tease, and those news that make me drool. Hit me up, make me come, wanna sex, I'll show you some. Sticky drama all the way, want my dick, you gotta pay. You see what my thumbs can do, time to use my tongue on you.
And later you tell her, I would love to be the first guy to make you blank if you wanted me to, and I wanted to. Feel me inside you, baby.
Right. So here's the thing. In those days, and maybe in still today's times, in the rock and roll world and the music world, people brought kids, adults, anyone in the crowd on stage to dance and have a good time. Now, him grinding on people, when you look at that now in context and they're underage, yes, it's completely disgusting. But everyone at every single show, whether it was a Blood on the Dance Floor show, my show, any rock show, you grabbed people on stage, you danced, and you threw them back in the crowd or they jumped back in, and that was that. So me being on stage and us singing the song that we did back in the day together, yes, we would always grab people up and do that. But for some reason, I'm responsible for his actions? Absolutely not. And that's not what happens. You know what I mean? So I think the context of Jeffree being on stage and endorsing someone grinding against a minor is so wrong and not accurate at all.
When you look back to that rock star lifestyle, do you remember things that Davi Vanity did that would horrify you today?
Oh, 100%. The things that I've seen were very offensive. And looking back, it was the way that he was such a master manipulator at making things seem not as crazy as they were. So yeah, I've witnessed him be very appropriate with people that were underage. Have I witnessed an actual crime? No. Chris, absolutely not.
There's a story about you coming on one of the tour buses and saying hi and bye and leaving and maybe looking the other way on some of this activity Davi was involved in with underage women. Characterize that.
I would love to talk about that.
Sure.
So first of all, I was there. All these people speculating and making things up, they were not there. I was on tour with these people, and we had, whether we were in a van, because when you're broke, and before we all kind of made it bigger, we were touring in vans, then RVs, and then tour buses at the end. And this is what's crazy, Chris, is that mothers would bring their daughters on the tour bus. So I never saw minors alone with them, never. But there would be moms who would bring their kids, whether they were underage or not, on his bus. And let's say I popped in to say hi to Jay, because me and Davi were never best friends. I want to be very clear about that. Me and Jay were very close. And their violin player, Brandy, who was on tour with them for years and years. Jay and Brandy were my friends. So when I would go on the bus for short amount of time and visit, whether we said hi, we smoked weed, we just talked and catched up, there was always moms with these people. And when there was girls on the bus, obviously I never knew their age, but no one ever looked really, really young. So it was bizarre to me that he would do, and I would love to tell people that something that was kind of disturbing to me is that he would bring mom and daughters on the bus, and sometimes it would be threesomes. Sometimes he would have sex with the mothers. And this is what his band members would tell me when I would leave the bus.
How would you describe Davi Vanity as a guy, first of all, as a human being?
In what's like back then when I knew him?
Yeah, back then when you knew him, I mean, what was the conversation? What was the vibe you got from him? How was the relationship? How would you best characterize all of that?
There's a few stages of it. To me, it was like this kid almost like wouldn't go away as like a fan. And then he became kind of bigger on MySpace. And it was almost like, okay, well, they're kind of in the same genre. They're not going away. So let's see what they're about. And this was before Jay was in the band, because there was an old singer. I'm sure you know that. I think his name is Garrett. Like way back in the day when I very first met them. So it's almost like he went from being a fan to like a musician, kind of in the same playing field as me, but he always just seemed like he tried too hard. Like he really, really wanted to fit in. But you know, Chris, when you meet people and they always just have like a weird vibe, that's what I always got from him. And whether it's creepy or weird, people might take that out of context, but he always just seemed a little off.
And what was the talk about him with underage girls in those days? You talked about mothers bringing their daughters onto the bus, hanging out, you know, inviting fans up on the stage. What do you think was really happening back then?
It's scary to think about because you just don't know. And I see a lot of people that think, oh, Jeffree, you brought your fans around him. And it's like, we have to stop that mentality. I did not bring my fans around him at all. I think we should be clear that a lot of the times, let's say I would play first, a lot of kids would leave. So do we have a similar audience? Yes, absolutely. But I wasn't in their circle. So, you know what I mean?
How much time did you actually spend with him when you guys were performing? I mean, was it like at the end of the show, you would go one way, he would go his way?
Yeah, like when you're on tour with someone, you see them when you're checking in and doing sound check. It's called like loading in all the equipment. And you see people for glimpses of the day and you talk for a little bit of time. But there was like maybe a year where I really befriended him. And then on that last tour, we literally didn't speak at all. And he was very jealous of me. He didn't want any of his band members speaking with me. And it was very chaotic. So yes, there was a time when we were friends. Yeah, so back in the day, there was a lot of crazy rumors about Davi. There was never any criminal charges against him. He was never put in jail for, I know there was one instance, but he never served real jail time. There was no criminal case against him. So there was a moment when a lot of us in the music world were not sure what was really going on. So it was being in that moment of not knowing, really believing it all because it was very believable. But then at the end of the day, there was no proof. So yes, I tweeted out a lot of things. Did I ever see an actual sexual crime? Absolutely not. Did I see weird, inappropriate behavior? Yes. Did I call him a child molester? Yes, because at the time I really believed it. I thought that what people were saying and the weird things that were behind the scenes going on, that they were all true. Well, I felt that he was getting a platform that was bigger than I ever thought he would reach, right? And I didn't want my audience to think that if they were true, which he, being the master manipulator that he was, proved to a lot of people at that time that he didn't do anything, that he really wasn't going to jail, because he never went back to jail after that one incident. So he really tricked us all into thinking, hey, I'm actually not that person, which was really scary. And one of the biggest regrets of being dumb enough to believe someone and to getting manipulated into thinking that he's, an okay person.
And at the end of the day, what responsibility did you have as a performer who was affiliated with him to report anything? And what could you have reported at the time?
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people don't understand, is that I don't have anything to report. If I actually saw and witnessed something, he would be rotting in jail this very moment. But I never saw anything besides inappropriate behavior. Like the things on stage at that time were not very crazy. Looking back, it's very wrong, but I never witnessed anything. Me calling Davi my brother, that's just me being dramatic. Davi was never my brother. We were never best friends. You can think that, 100% not the case. I found out that he was actively on social media and that there are still regular girls out there writing fan things to him. It really made me sick to my stomach. So if you are currently actively following that person or have any interaction, please cease doing that. He is a monster. I don't care what anyone says about me. Davi Vanity is disgusting. He's a monster, and he really needs to be rotting in prison forever. Chris, I'm going to be very offensive here and say that if I was the judge and I could give Davi a punishment, it would be the firing squad.
This is called a neuralizer. It's a gift from some friends from out of town. This red eye here will isolate the electronic impulses in your brains, and more specifically the ones for memory. Oh, that's good, fellas. Give me a splay burn around the perimeter with holes at 40, 60, and 80 meters from right here. Thank you. That's good. Thank you.
What in the hell is going on?
Excellent question. And the answer you're looking for lies right here.
Who are you? Really?
Really? I am just a figment of your imagination.